Hello there. Can you name this tune? So that song you just listened to, You Are My Sunshine, it's probably really difficult for you to make out. And I have to tell you, that scene is repeated the world over by millions of people every day as we try to get the information that's in our heads, our knowledge, out through our mouths, through our body language, through the language that we choose, the smiles on our faces. All of those things combine to communicate to others the information that we have inside of us to them. Now, as we get started on this project, I want to explain to you this tappers versus learners theory, which is what we just participated in, was an eye-opener for me, and really the turning point in my communications journey here at Colorado Christian University. I believe that the world over, there are people every day who repeat this scene, trying to get the information that is inside of them out in a way that they can be understood by others. It's a challenge, and I would love to see a world where people communicate, they say what they mean what they say, and there are no more miscommunications. But we all know that's probably not going to happen anytime soon. So I would propose to you maybe a budding business in the communications field of communication coaching. And I think a business named ACT Communication Services would be pretty fun, because we would use an audit process to examine the communication functions of organizations, small groups, and teams, and use the results from that to develop a coaching and training program that would help these groups and individuals overcome any of the communication challenges that they have. And I know that communication is not the cure-all for every problem in a group. There are instances where there simply are people who don't get along, the chemistry is wrong, and I get that, but I do think that there's a ton of room for improvement, and it's my passion to try and help people overcome some of those challenges. So let's talk a little bit about what that means. So with a communication audit, we would go in using, look at all of their publications and see how they're communicating with their internal clients, externally, and just kind of give them a broad overview of how effective that is. There's also opportunity to look at communication logs, to do one-on-one interviews with regular employees, with management, and even with clients or vendors if they're open to that. So tons of opportunities to get in and help companies figure out how and where their communication shortcomings are. So based upon the information found in the results of the audit, we would develop a communication training program where specifically to help companies get from sort of dysfunctional to more functional communicators. And that really happens in 4 areas. One is broadly across the organization itself, within small groups and teams. Then culturally, there are a lot of challenges, especially with the globalization that's going on in the world today. So many people are coming into business settings from different cultures and different backgrounds where the vernacular is different, vocabulary, using a word one way and meaning it in another way. That happens all the time, creating huge confusion and frustration. And I know a lot of times companies see employees that are maybe really book smart, really intelligent, but struggle on interpersonal level and when they're in a group or team setting. So the final area would be actual basic interpersonal communication skills, where we teach people how to be more receptive to the people that they're communicating with, help them to understand that we need to take another one and consider how the things that we're saying are being received. So the communication training can happen in a number of ways as well. We can do in-person, on-site training. We can do workshops. We can develop training manuals. We can do individual coaching. We can do small group coaching. just all kinds of opportunities to walk into a company, help them figure out, really with an outside perspective, how to overcome these communication challenges. So the final part of this business is the opportunity to work individually. So by having a basic understanding of interpersonal communication skills, the ability to listen, the ability to have an understanding of the people that you're talking with, and not using too big of words, not using the wrong medium when you really should go talk to someone face to face, and instead you're avoiding and send an email. That's really not an effective way to communicate, and can create a lot of confusion and miscommunication, hurt feelings. A lot of things can result from that. So the goal overall is to work with our clients, help them figure out what their goals are. The coaching piece is kind of where that comes into play, and having the ability to work with people who really probably have many of the solutions within their organization, but just helping them to utilize the tools that they have in place. I did a communications audit a few months ago with Northwind Engineering Group, and I have to tell you, it was one of the most enlightening experiences I've had at school, primarily because I realized that people don't know how to say what they want to say. There were 12 questions in a survey that we did, and I did some one-on-one interviews, and I went through and looked at their some of their publications. And overall, they do a great job communicating, but there really is some information flow that's not happening. There are people who are using the wrong medium when they communicate. And I was able to put together a report and show that to the engineering manager, and I think he's really been able to utilize that information to help his group communicate better. Because we all know, well, the common theme or the common theory is that engineers are not great communicators. They're great at building stuff and designing stuff, but they're not usually great communicators. And I don't think that's true. I think they've got skills, they just aren't necessarily sure of how to use them. And a lot of it comes with practice. And that's where we develop skill. We practice and repeat the same really successful communication behaviors over and over again, and we become skilled. We seek knowledge through furthering our education, maybe reading books, taking a class, hiring a coach. There are a number of opportunities there. So being a competent communicator really is our goal, working with people to develop competent communicators on an individual level, so that really does kind of flow into their small groups, their teams, and throughout their organizations. So in short, I believe that we have an opportunity to come in with a fresh perspective. We help companies overcome the curse of knowledge